Hello, and welcome to another episode of the SYCK Career Podcast. Today, as I'm recording this in July in Brooklyn, it is hot. It is hot and sticky. And it's not just like that because of global warming, although it is, but it's also hot and sticky because that's how it is in the summer. And you know what people do in the summer? They take vacations. And when they take vacations, lots of people are out of the office and jobs are not posted and recruiting kind of slows down. So lots of individuals that I work with, lots of clients decide to take the summer off as well and not focus on their career and not focus on the job search. And let me tell you today why that is a poor decision. So there's an adage that goes, dig your well before you're thirsty. And what that essentially means is plant those seeds that will yield results down the road. What I'm talking about here in regards to the job search is one of the best aspects, one of the best ways to get a job is through referrals. Only 7% of individuals apply through a referral, but 40% of people are hired through referrals. And because of that, it behooves you really to build relationships, to learn and earn referrals from people that will get your resume to the front of the line. Looking back on my career, 24 out of my 29 jobs have occurred because someone was nice enough to say, hey, speak to Alan. He's a good guy. You should chat with him. It does not mean that I did not need to interview, but what greased the wheel and what gave me that opportunity to get those roles was a referral. Bringing this back to the summer, bringing this back to digging the well. Jobs are not posted as much, even though there are a lot of jobs out there. There are still 183,000 jobs out there for the top 100 companies that we look at Kadima. But the volume of jobs are not as prodigious as they are later in the year when people are back from the summer vacations and the beginning of the year when companies are hiring to hit their 2024 goals or whatever year we're going into. So because of that, there are not a lot of hiring going on. Lots of people at these companies, at Google, at Salesforce, at Pfizer, at American Express, name the company. People are taking vacation. People are taking time with their families. So when they take time away, recruiting cycle slows down because those people that are working at those companies that need to interview you, that need to post those jobs, are no longer doing that because they're hanging out in Iceland, they're hanging out on the beach, they're going to Europe for the summer. Whatever people do in the summer, they are doing that rather than hiring. But what that allows you to do as a job seeker is continue to forge those relationships, continue to have those conversations with people, even while they're on vacation. So I'm not saying to hunt people down and stalk people while on vacation, but lots of those conversations that I've had during my job search occurred with people when they were on vacation. For me, for instance, when I go to Iceland, I will be checking emails. If someone wants to call me, if I have cell service, I will talk to clients. I will talk to people that are seeking career advice, as will others. When I got into Google, the person who referred me, his name was Ben, he was actually on vacation with his family. It was not during the summer, but he was on vacation and he was still willing to talk to me. He got on the phone, I think he was drinking pina coladas by the beach, and he was willing to talk to me about Google. And after that conversation, the conversation went well. He put me in as a referral. He just shot an email to a recruiter and got the ball moving. It took a little while for me to actually get the first interview beyond the recruiter because of some summer plans that actually, no, it wasn't summer. Excuse me. It was May. So my point being, Ben spoke to me on vacation. People are on vacation during the summer. People will still be willing to talk to you during their vacation. So people are still on LinkedIn. People are still checking social media. People are still willing to talk and give advice. So this is the perfect time to build those relationships, have conversations with people, be cognizant that not everyone that you're reaching out to is going to be willing to talk while they're on vacation. Some people just like to separate their work from their life and don't want to talk anything career related. But what you're actually asking people for, if you follow our process and you follow the recommendations for informational interviews, is you are not asking directly for referral. You're not asking directly to get into the company. All you are doing is seeking advice, seeking guidance from someone that works at Goldman Sachs, that works at Comcast, that works at Eli Lilly. Whatever those companies are, you're reaching out to them and saying, hey, I see you went to Binghamton. I see you went to UNC. I see you used to work at Accenture. And now you are at Spotify. Now you are at Twilio. Now you are at NBC Universal. Name the company. But you're reaching out to them and saying, hey, I love to connect with people that have commonalities with me. And you make that connection. And then after you make that connection, you ask to set up some time for an informational. Some people will be willing to have those conversations while on their summer sabbatical. Some people may not. But you will be surprised that people are still willing to talk, still willing to give advice. They may not be willing to do work. They may not be willing to get in front of their computer, but they'll be willing to get on a phone call. And this is a great opportunity for you to continue that momentum, build those relationships, dig that well before you're thirsty, so that then come September, come October, when people are back in the office and recruiting picks up and the job search picks up and there's more and more roles available, you will be in prime position to activate those relationships that you built over the summer and get them to refer you. When you're asking for people for advice on how to get into a company, whether it's MetLife, whether it is GE, whether it's IBM, name the company, it doesn't really matter. They're still willing to give advice. They're still willing to give guidance. You can talk to them a little bit about your background, your experience, and ask where you might be a good fit within that organization. And they might be willing to introduce you to other people within the organization. Another great question to ask as you are having informational interviews, as you're having these conversations, is to bring a list of 5 other companies that you're interested in. So for instance, say you're trying to get into baseball. I tried to do that at one point. I met with folks from the Brooklyn Cyclones, and I actually wound up working for the Brooklyn Cyclones, but pretend that I didn't. When I talked to the Brooklyn Cyclones, I could say, hey, I'm looking for other minor league teams in the New York tri-state area. Do you know anything about the New Haven Ravens? Do you know anything about the Newark Bears? Do you know anything about the Staten Island Yankees? And some of these teams are now defunct, by the way. But by saying 5 other companies, 5 other organizations, and just asking them to reflect back on what do you think about those companies? What do you think about those teams? What do you think about those organizations? It will prompt in them that, oh, I know Susie over at the New Haven Ravens, or I know Tamika over at the Philadelphia Phillies, or what have you. And they might be willing to make an introduction where you can continue to have those conversations. So I'm going to wrap up this episode now. But what I really want to share with all of you ambitious professionals out there, all of you in the Acceleration Nation, is that the summer is a time that you should take some time off. Enjoy time with your family. Enjoy time with your friends. Have some barbecue. Have some beer. Go on vacation. Enjoy that time off. But if you are in a job search, do not assume that just because the number of job postings come down, and they do come down seasonally in the summer, it does not mean that you should not continue to be taking those efforts, those important efforts of building those relationships, getting those insights, earning those referrals that will supercharge your search when the fall comes around and jobs start appearing at a higher velocity. And finally, I want to say that there are still jobs out there, so continue to apply, but expect that the interview process, the vetting process, that will be even slower than a process that is typically inefficient, ineffective, biased, which is recruiting. So it will be slower than you're used to in the summer. There's still jobs out there, but because the interview process will slow down, because roles are reduced in terms of the numbers that are being posted, use this time to build relationships. And even if you're not connecting with people on LinkedIn, even if you're not connecting with people in the professional industries, as you're having those barbecues, as you're playing soccer or softball or whatever, talk to people about life, about things in general, but also find out what they do professionally. You might be able to make some contacts on the softball field at that barbecue that can lead to more informationals, more insight that will allow you to dig that well before you're thirsty and help grease the wheels and get you in to companies, earn those referrals, move to the front of the line, and get jobs how 40% of people do. That's all I got for this episode of the SYCK Career Podcast. I'll finish up with a couple of things. One, we at Kadima help you to accelerate your career. We help to empower you with the skills, with the insights, with the confidence to get more interviews, to get more offers, and to make more money. And you can do that by listening to our podcast. You can also go to kadimacareers.com and find out about our next job acquisition workshop. These workshops are free. They're interactive. You will get lots more insight about how to supercharge your career and take ownership of your career. And if you do want to work with me one-on-one with coaching, we do offer that. We share that on our website at kadimacareers.com. We also have digital courses. We have group coaching offerings. We have all different ways that we can help you from free to paid all over the spectrum. But we are here to help empower you and so that you can own your career. If you like this episode, please subscribe. Please rate and review. And if you take a picture of the screenshot with you giving us a review, send it over to me at alan@kadimacareers.com. I will set you up with a free LinkedIn profile review. So with that, thanks a lot for listening and own your career.